Hello and welcome to C-Suite Middle East. I'm your host, Shane Phillips, and today we're talking with Geoffrey White, the Chief Executive Officer of Agility Africa. Agility is one of the world's largest logistics companies with revenues of over $5 billion US dollars. Geoffrey, welcome to the show.
It's a great pleasure to be here, Shane.
A lot of people on one hand are saying business is moving east, Dubai's, one of the new economic centers of the world. On the other hand, every time there's a bit of volatility, which the region definitely has its fair share of, people start to get a bit frosty or at least lukewarm. What's your take on Dubai, the role it's going to play in its future?
I think Dubai is perfectly positioned as that transitional point between the East and the West and emerging markets and developed markets. I think a huge amount of the success is driven by the infrastructure you see around you and by the connectivity that Emirates has brought, by the freight forwarding and freight capabilities that have been developed by Jebel Ali, that has really made Dubai into it's beyond critical mass, and now it's actually operating and working as the central trading hub, arguably one of the most important in the world.
And I think as you move forward, you have about 2 to 3 billion people, depending on how you cut it, between Middle East, Africa, and Asia. So you really feel that this will become one of the center points for anybody who wants to run their business into these areas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's already established itself as a global meeting point, where if you're doing business with China, if you're doing business with Africa, if you're doing business between Europe, the place to all coagulate into one location and sit and have a meeting face to face is in Dubai.
I was saying, actually, we were talking to one of the CEOs of one of the big hospitals here, and he was saying now one of his biggest customer segments is actually Africans who are coming up here for medical services, and so Africa seems to be drawn here more and more. And so is your headquarters in Dubai?
Our headquarters is in Dubai, and we had literally a choice. We're a global company, so we could put it anywhere when we first set up the Africa team, but chose Dubai because I think it's growing in prominence from an African perspective. Africa's going from 1 billion to 2 billion people, and I think as a trading center for head offices, for medical services, for tourism and leisure, Dubai is now becoming the destination of choice for most Africans.
And one of the big trends you saw into Africa was the FMCG growth and those products. But I think as Africa matures, it will start to create its own manufacturing facilities, which could also in the long term put a dent in Dubai's re-export market.
Well, I think over time, as it fixes its electricity problems, which are the biggest challenge across the continent just now, it will become a manufacturer initially for domestic consumption, and then potentially it'll be a big energy exporter. It's now got approximately 15% of the world's energy resources. It's got 60% of the world's unused arable land. So all your major global retail food chains are seeing Africa as a very important source of product moving forward. But I think that as a gateway will always have a proportion of it that will flow into Dubai and trade out of Dubai.
So setting up in Dubai, how easy did you find it? Do you feel the infrastructure here is the right type of support you need as a business?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a huge amount of business done between Africa and Dubai currently. I think maybe it could all be focused into more of a specific center that is like an African hub or an African center of excellence. But I think as a gateway into Africa and for Africa out to the world, Dubai is going to continue to play a very important role.
Great. Well, thanks again, Geoffrey, for coming on the show, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
Great. Nice to be here. Thank you.